God. How did he get here so fast? You've been running for 6 days. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are here with the hopefully season finale of Last Samurai Standing. We're on episode 8, which is called Mortal Kombat. If you know, you know. That's a real throwback, but you know, look it up. Anyways, we are finally here. I'm hoping this is in fact the season finale because it feels like we can't possibly be wrapping up all the storylines in this episode. We'll have to see. But in the previous episode, we got to get a little more background into why Kawaji, or how Kawaji feels, I should say, about the samurai era, and some background on him. From what I can see, I believe that he was at one time a samurai and that he did serve with, the police commissioner or the police, the minister, as well as Shujiro at some point. So something went wrong at some point, not sure what, but he now has a very negative viewpoint of what samurai are, and he absolutely did create the Kadoku to try to wipe out the remnants of the samurai that were, I guess, the proudest of the proud. And then on the contestant side of things, we see that Shujiro has arrived at a town where there seems to be some sort of festival going on. The point is there's lots of people there and he's not alone. We see that Kyojin went off on his own and met up with 2 more of his brothers from the mountain. He seems to have some sort of an offer for them. And then we know that the Savage is also headed towards him because he found out where Shujiro is headed. And if that isn't enough, Gentasai, who's been the boogeyman who's been hunting down Shujiro and his brothers and sister for all these years, has also descended on this town. So a lot of chaos is happening. And I do believe that this is the same town where the minister is supposed to meet Shujiro in order to take Futaba to safety, but we know that Kawaji wants to intercept that too. So many things are supposed to be happening in this episode. That's why I'm very eager to jump in. Let's do that. Just before I do though, even though the show is ending, I'd appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because there'll be lots of other great stuff here on the channel, and that's how you make sure that you stay in the know. And also, if you want to watch the whole season with the unedited reactions, you can do that on my Patreon. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Oh, back to the flashback. Is this still Shujiro? Because now we know the few people were there that we've met now. The Savage! I know his voice. Yeah, so he been crazy. Was he on the other side? I don't care about you. Oh, God. Okay, you seem to think that yours is the only definition of samurai. Oh. Civilized? That's civilized weapon is an oxymoron. Not Shujiro. So this really was beef since the battlefield. Where were the people who were shooting and stuff? I hate that people give in to this man. I know he doesn't give them a lot of... Ooh, damn! The double swipe, but he didn't kill him. That's what he wanted. That's why he's mad. And Shujiro didn't give you what you wanted. That's why you've been pissed for 10 years? Loser. Because you hate yourself. That has nothing to do with Shujiro. It's very sad that you spent your last 10 years for this. But yeah, I think it's pretty clear this man is crazy. Something snapped a long time ago in him. And yet he got out. Who let him out? Was he there for the last 10 years? Did Kawaji just release him purely for this? Probably. He was actually depressed. Sounds about right. I don't like how Scarface feels like he's better than everybody. That's probably the realest thing he said. Yeah, they let him out for this. Literally fresh out of jail, you sent this man. He didn't even try to wash first, nothing. Well, that brought a lot of life back into him, huh? Can we also talk about the fact that Kawaji just sacrificed so many cops for this? Like, was that really a battle though? Well, just, that looks like you're cutting down the innocent. You don't seem to know what you want. You say you want a real fight, but then you mow down innocents like it's nothing.
必ず新しい時代に牙を向きます。警察に銃の帯同の許可をください。
Wow.
それ以上は許さん。
大久保さん
Raising your voice,
必
huh?
要以上な制圧は新たな放棄を
Oh,
生むだけだ。
look, his brain was actually working.
ここから日本が国として強くなるために必要なものは何だ
He doesn't care. He just wants to kill Shizuku. Let him.
武力で民意は得られない。そんなこともわからんのか
He doesn't. He's a hateful little man.
共に生きる道を見つけねばこの国に未来はない。
He doesn't want to coexist. He wants to eliminate. Okay, so the minister actually had sense and a good heart. It's just Kawaji's hate. Very, very insecure, narrow view of the world.
諦めません。
Yeah, we know that. We saw. And what sucks is the way he's framing this. If a samurai takes his head off, he's going to say it's exactly what samurai were all about, right? You seeing the picture now? He didn't give up, like he said. He just went behind your back. Why is it so dark in this place? Yeah, he's far from safe. Well, he'll be safe as long as he doesn't directly go up against him. Kawaji wants a puppet.
警察の未来について東京にて待つ。
This guy, it literally is the perfect face for every creepy butler character you can put in any movie where there's a creepy butler. He just has the whole face and the temperament down pat. Taba hasn't smiled in a while. Oh, the babies.
行っていいぞ。
Yeah, he's like, go have some fun. You're a
いいん
child.
ですか
Not now. We don't know when.
あの子といるのも最後かもしれない。
Exactly. Or her last days ever.
そんな顔するようになったんだ。
どんな顔だ
Like a father?
こう見つめる父親の顔。
Yep. Kids change you most of the time.
家族を持って幸せだった。
I think it did.
本当の家族ってどういうもの？
You guys were a real family, though. Just not conventional. So stinking cute. Please don't show the toes again, please. It looks like his daughter had a happy life, at least until she got
全
sick.
てを投げ打ってでも守りたいもの。
Exactly. Dad things.
違う。俺は
分かってる。分かってる。
I mean, it's not on you. Truthfully, Shijiro, it's not. Iroha's life that she chose to live after that had nothing to do with you. You gave her a chance to have one.
この先の神社でな、祭りをやっとる。二人はそこにおる。幻冬祭もな。
Oh, you've been observing.
何者ださあ、
Yeah, who are you, actually?
自分でもわからんようになってきた。
Uh-oh.
急ぎや。
I still don't know his angle yet, who he's working for.
世の中にはな、知らん方がええこともあるんや。
Why does he have the blade?
この孤独っちゅう遊びを。
Yeah, he's such a mystery. I really don't know where to place Kyojin, if that's even his name. They made sure to show us him in places that look like he's part of the game, but he knows way too much about Shijiro and his siblings and Kodoku and Gentasai. Oh yeah, pray. Yes, prayers are good. Oh no, I hear he knows the bell. She knows the bell. Walk away slowly like you don't know him.
氷八流継承者の八。
Damn it!
死ぬが
Couldn't your
先
mind
よ
go with age? That man moves like lightning. I was about to say, why are you isolating yourself? But you know what? That was the kind thing to do because he'll kill all these people. He don't care. It started with what? Oh, fireworks. Oh, that'll hide the sound of gunshots. Friend? Yeah, I was hoping you would love that moment of softness, but I knew it was distracting you. Gentasai, help! Gentasai! No, girl, run to that bastard. I want him and Gentasai to fight. Let the old people take each other out. That bell just being the slow toll of doom. And he's stalking her. We know he can move lightning fast. Yes, everyone get the hell out of there. Why are you all still here? Run! He's talking about himself right now. That's what y'all deserve. I don't know why you're still standing here. No. Because he's crazy. Yeah, his definition of samurai is murderer. Oh, Futaba, why are you doing this? He's gonna do it. He's definitely gonna do it. You ran indoors, Iroha? Girl, how are your survival instincts this bad? How did he get here so fast? You've been running for 6 days. Why didn't you run into the fray? I mean, I guess you don't want more people to die, but Gentasai wants a fight. He could have found it there. Somehow he's gonna be behind this door, isn't he? Lightning fast, girl. Lightning fast. This man is inhuman. I don't know what you're doing. Of course, there's 100 doors now. We've fallen into Demon Slayer, guys. It was over that quick. Oh, my old man. I'm sorry. I don't feel at all for these people because they could have left ages ago and they're still not running. You see how they're still stopping and watching? Yeah. They deserve whatever happens to them. He got over it. He has. You've got time to monologue, bro? Well, yeah, thanks to you. Why are you all still here? I'm so livid. Honey, swords go straight through boards. You know that, right? I cannot believe that she was raised on a mountain to survive and she ran to the most perfect place to be murdered. Yeah, you can probably hear your heartbeat or some shit. I cannot believe you thought them little wooden planks was going to save you, girl, against steel. That sounded like he hit something. He enjoys murdering, huh? He could have ended it. He could have ended it so long ago, but he likes torturing them first. Y'all just casually walking, murders afoot, and you're like, that's okay, casual midnight stroll. All of y'all, no survival instincts. Oh my God, that was a crazy stunt. That was nuts. Hey, Aroha, at least you're showing that you went to this school. It wasn't that easy, I promise. Don't go over there. I knew he hit something. Yeah, that was a love tap for him. What are you talking about? That wasn't. He wasn't even trying with you, girl. So loud. Who is this? Sasuke? Don't say found you, because he found you. Clean! Iroha, can you? This was supposed to be a group effort, although, I mean, I don't know how well you can move with only one leg. He wants to kill her because he thinks she's done for. She's the easier target. This Lord Raiden ass shit. Why did he pick up a stick? I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like it. Really? Loud enough for him to hear the plan? And what's sad is every move that they know, Gentasai knows because they're trained in the same art. Although we still have no idea what Gentasai is supposed to be. Is he? Or is he just really skilled? Someone else staying by to save them yet again. At least you've gotten to live this long. I feel like that's not enough. He's gonna say, nice move, kid. Or did he take off? That's not a bad idea. Running again until we regroup wouldn't be a bad idea. That's the first time we've seen a real actual cut get on this guy. I love that they're showing how exhausting this is. I mean, outside of the fact that Shijiro ran like 6 blocks. Why are their blades hot? Is that just from the back and forth? That is nuts. Spark, they're gonna start this place on fire, aren't they? There's a lot of explosive things in here. My God, guys. Okay. That's actually very cool for effect, though. Okay, now y'all literally in hell. Futaba, please. I beg of you. Guys? Praying one of those blows up right in that savage's eye, please, God. Now that's focus. Neither don't even flinch with that bang. Them looking like this is the best show ever. Y'all don't get the hell out of there. No one wants to kick someone in the balls? Sure, they're fine. It's just a flesh wound. God, stop, drop, and roll. Why are you literally fanning the flames? Well, kudos to the stunt people. This must have been fun. I think with all the dirt that must be kicked up on the savage that he'd burn faster. Ooh, this eerie silence. I knew it was over. I could tell by how still Shijiro got. He was done playing with you. You happy? You wanted to die so bad. Now you're gonna pollute this lake. Die! Shanae! Great. I know you really didn't want to do that, Shijiro. I'm sorry. Don't pass out yet. Genticize here. That nightmare's over, thank God. The only part I'm upset about is that Shijiro really did not want to take life again unless he had to. But that savage was not going to stop till someone took him out. Welp, festival's over. Or maybe not. No one left. Oh, back peacefully at the manor.
そして66番漢字や武骨脱落です。なんと108番佐賀修十郎に殺され
My
て
God.
私たちにとっては喜ばしいことです。
ですな。
なるほど。
He is the only one who's died so far that I believe deserved to go.
いよいよですな。
皆様引き続き孤独をお楽しみください。
Which time are we talking about here? I think he's about to go take out the minister because he knows he cannot convert him.
遠方にて会う場所は伝えましたので。
わかった。金持ちども楽しま
Bastards! It's the way Kawaji thinks he's so much better than everybody. This is why he needs to be humbled and humiliated slowly.
新平とはまだ連絡が取れないのか。
He's gone.
入っていないようでして、
He's
警
dead.
察に捜索を頼みましょうか。
No, the police are corrupt. They won't help you.
手分けして行方を探してくれ。
They won't. Or if they do, I don't even know what they did. Actually, that's probably why they choked him. They want to make it look like he did it himself. Interesting choice of a shot here. It feels like a goodbye. Mm-hmm. There goes your coachman.
半次郎、お前、
No.
生きてたの
Let's
か。
believe he died on that day. Please.
さようなら。
Yep. Wow, and he had the balls to do it himself. Doesn't surprise me. Don't act like you care. You're just a bitch-ass puppet.
何が起きているのだ。
Wow, he's wiping out the whole government. Kawaji is taking out the whole government. There will be no accountability for what happened. Okay. I'm sorry, bells are going to be traumatizing for a while now.
大隈卿が。これは偶然じゃない。
Mm-hmm.
佐賀殿ですか。
No? Why?
そのまま東京を目指せとのことです。 失礼します。
You realize how deep this is now, huh?
一刻も早く東京へ行くぞ。
Yeah, you have to take her now. Now, the only thing that might be a problem is Gentasai. But if he's wounded, he may not go after Shijiro. You know what you have to do, right, Shijiro? You know what you have to do. It's a good thing Shijiro has a good memory. Doesn't look like he forgets anyone.
シクラ兄は強くて、あの頃はみんな笑顔だった。
Different time.
もしあの時、継承戦があったら、私は死んでいた。
Sad.
中兄が逃げてくれたから、私は今も生きている。
That's why you're all still here.
元妻を倒さない限り、
He would have beat you.
私たちは前に進めない。兄弟全員で、元東妻を倒そう。
I hope so.
兄弟が揃わないと勝てない。
What you mean is you need Shijiro. we got it.
まずは兄弟を集めよう。
I'm down. But we only have one episode. We're in the last episode. There's got to be a season 2, guys, right? Right?
これで我々の孤独に集中できますよ。
Okay. While the nation completely collapses under your corruption. Not a manual roller table. Damn. Literally, that's all you guys are there for?
引き
Just to
続き
move
孤
the
独
tablecloth?
をお楽しみください。
What is that? Who is this? Please tell me this is one of the siblings. I mean, it makes sense that one of them would crack after all this time. That's one of the siblings. Oh, I thought the age of the samurai was over, bro. Why do you still have your sword? I'm scared. Please leave this Strider alone, please. They said they want him for the finale, though. Do you not shower again, Desai?
殺せへんかったんか。
Those two are working
せっか
together.
く場所教えたったのに。
Makes sense. Is he the successor then? Who's the child that said should have died? The brother that said died with Gentasai. Maybe he didn't. But dude, you can fight your conscience all you want. A sword ain't gonna kill it. Homie's like, I'm good. No, really, you're crazy. He's not. We don't have the last samurai standing at end of chapter 1. Okay, there's definitely going to be more chapters. Got it. Phew. Because I was like, this is not feeling like, last episode I said, this is not feeling like we're anywhere close to being done. There's no way we're wrapping this show in one episode the way they've done it. Like, we're not even in Tokyo. Is that not where we end this? So, oh my goodness. That was Mortal Kombat indeed. They were not lying. All right, oh gosh, where do we start? I guess some of the shorter parts of the episode. So I kind of figured out when they showed us the flashback of Kyojin talking to the siblings, why would he split them up? If he was actually trying to help them, why would he tell the two brothers to go after Iroha separately and not want them all to be together? Right? Wouldn't that make sense? He overheard what Iroha said. He knows the situation enough to know that the only way to get to Gentasai, the only way they'll have a chance is if they all attack at once, including Shijiro. This would have put 4 out of the siblings together. 4 out of the, there was 8 of them, 1 died, and then another 2 were killed, right? So there's supposed to be 3 dead, which means 5 should be remaining, right? That's 4 that they would have had right there, short of the big guy who we just saw. So why not put them together? 4 out of 5 would have still been enough to get Gentasai to his knees. And I think, like I said multiple times, Shijiro has proven he's got the skill. I think he could take Gentasai on his own, to be perfectly honest. But with all of them, there's no way. Gentasai would be out for the count. There's no doubt. So as soon as once I realized and looked a little bit more on it in this episode, I mean, last episode I was thinking about it, but even more so now this episode, that's when it hit me. I'm like, Kyojin he's either working with Gentasai or there's something he's getting out of helping Gentasai. Because how does he even know about him? Right? They didn't talk about that openly. That's way too intimate of a thing for him to have known about. So my theory now is that the brother that they said stayed behind to take out Gentasai didn't die. because they didn't see it. None of the kids would have seen if he died, right? He told them to go, he stayed and fought. But the thing is, they would recognize him. No, or they should recognize him. So that's the part that's the hole in my theory, is that we all know that Shijiro remembers faces. Like almost everybody he's come across that he's known in some part of his life, he remembers. So he would have known if that was the same guy, unless something has happened, unless something was done to alter his appearance. There's a hole in that theory. But anyways, I think he's tied to that in some way. Maybe there was another trainee that no one knew about. I don't know. Maybe the late master had a son. I don't know, but something's going on there. They are giving a little hint to possibly a little bit of the mystical in this show, just in the fact that how does Gentasai move like that? How does he move so damn fast for being that old? He was old when they were children. So how old is that man? Right? So anyway, so we have to figure out the situation with Kyojin. He could be still just an outside. The other option is that he still is an outsider who just met Gentasai, because like you said, he's a strategist. He wants to get to the end of this. He wants to know what's going on. I, at this point, don't think he has anything to do with the Kodoku directly, but maybe I'm thinking too small. Like maybe he's in cahoots with Kawaji, but not in the way of like working with him per se. Like now we saw Kawaji made a huge move by taking out 2 ministers, right? He took out the, whoever the cipher was, he took out the actual minister who was a friend of his, Lord Okuba. So he's willing to cross whatever lines he has to get this done. This, to me, reads that there's going to be some level of change potentially, or that he's trying to push through a type of reform in Japan where it's all his way and none of the old way, right? We saw in this episode that Okubo very much wanted to have a coexistence, right? It looks like he wasn't in favor of completely stripping the samurai of everything, right? Unless, of course, he felt like there was a justified reason, i.e. an uprising that they had to worry about to do that. But like he said, we should learn to coexist. We don't have to suppress them to the point of wanting to rebel. We can just like take their swords away, take away their main weapon. They've lost all their privileges in society already. Let's like leave it at that and learn how to like coexist as we bring in a new era. But we see that Kawaji was not about that. But digressing, if Kyojin was aware of the fact that this whole thing was supposed to be going down and that there's a new order that's being rather forcefully trying to be pushed in, maybe he's at a higher level where he's just trying to make sure he's in the right side of whatever happens here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it, but I feel like he could potentially be at that level. Like maybe he's working with Kawaji loosely, but not to the point where he's working for him, if that makes sense. Because I could see that, right? Get in there, figure out who he needs to worry about. Because not every samurai is going to be like the savage, right? A lot of them are smarter than that. So you want to find out who the smart ones are, because they're the problem, right? The ones who just want to swing a sword are easy to take care of. It's the ones who actually think that you need to be worried about. So I don't know. That might be something. That's another alternative potentially, that maybe Kyojin is a little bit more of a free agent who's trying to make sure he's placed in the best possible position no matter what happens in this competition. And outside of that, like if he is just sitting in the competition, getting with Gentasai, but then again, how would he know who Gentasai is? How would he know who Gentasai is? I'm trying to think if any of the kids would have told the story of what happened on the mountaintop to anyone other than maybe their partners, right? I'm sure Sansuke probably told his wife about his past, and there's a very good chance Shijiro told his wife about his past, but who else would they tell, right? It's not the kind of story you just walk around telling people. So that's kind of still a missing piece for me, is the Gentasai piece and how much Kyojin knew. Because it sounds to me, my guess now, looking at what we're looking at now in episode 6, I think that Kyojin must have approached Gentasai day one or beforehand, because why would Gentasai even, like, he doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who'd think, ooh, they're all going to go to this competition, right? Yeah, that's not the way I think he thinks. He looks like he's just a soldier who follows orders, right? So someone would have tipped him off to go to the Kodoku, or maybe when he heard the rules, he knew that that was exactly what happened on the mountaintop, and so that's what made him go. But either way, something drew him to this competition instead of trying to look in every direction for these 5 kids. Somebody probably tipped him off that the kids, or at least most of the kids, would show up for this comp. So that's why he showed up, because hey, easy pickings, right? Kyojin probably approached him day one, or possibly even before they got into the competition, and said, hey, I will help you ram these kids up. And in return, it works out for me because I don't have to worry about these really, really good fighters in this competition for 100,000 yen. Like, that's one way to think of it. But I don't know. Something gives that Kyojin doesn't think that small. If he's looking at government level corruption, I just feel like he doesn't care about this damn comp. At least not that much. But anyway, that was kind of disappointing. I don't know where, but again, I still don't know. I still don't know where Kyojin is about. I don't know where his loyalties are I don't know. He's doing a very good job of keeping his cards close to his vest. And I don't think anybody is particularly of import to him at this point. I don't think he wants everyone dead. I think the reason he wanted Shijiro separated from the other kids is because he doesn't want Shijiro dead. That much I still think is true. I think he still thinks that Shijiro is important for whatever strategy that he's got in place. And, or if he is working with Kawaji somewhat, then maybe that's the other reason he wants to keep him alive. But that makes sense though. Actually, now that I'm talking through it, that makes sense that maybe that's why he separated them, because he knew that if Shijiro saw his siblings and Gentasai, he would have gone to help them and possibly risk getting hurt, right? To protect one of his family members. So we'll see. I don't know. He's still a bit of a question mark, but Kyojin is a very fun character to watch anyways. It's fun to try to figure out where he's at in this giant chessboard, what part he plays. He's definitely our chaotic, our chaotic neutral character on the board at the moment. Like no real strong alliances, no allegiances that we know of outside of himself, but definitely a broader thinker than I think a lot of people are giving him credit for at the moment, which is of course part of his whole, his whole I'm so laid back, I don't care about anything attitude. Absolutely a front. We saw how he locked in when he was fighting those cops in that jail, right? So he definitely has it in him to be a lot more, but yeah, he definitely plays off that he's not. So, and then we see that the boy who's with him, what's his name? Shinosuke, is definitely side-eyeing what the hell's going on, but he's smart enough to keep his mouth shut for now, because I think he's figured out that Kyojin will kill him if he doesn't care. Like if he doesn't, care about him anymore, he thinks he's a nuisance, his life is forfeit. So anyway, that's kind of what's going on with that situation. I'm still trying to figure out where Kyojin is at, but at least we know now that him and Gentasai are at least working together loosely at the moment. Aroha, girl, I mean, there's not much I can say about that. Like, where are your survival instincts? You're absolutely right when you said if you had stayed on that mountain, you would have died, because, you see Gentasai show up, he looks at you in a big ass crowd, Shijiro is right there. The guy you know can fight the best is right. Actually, she didn't see him. That's right. She looked for him and he wasn't there for some reason. But the point is, I would have looked for him. Now, yes, I've said in the episode, and it's true, Gentasai was much like the Savage. He would kill innocents. He don't care. But he probably wouldn't have it would have taken him some time to get to her, right? And that could have been some time for her to get to Shijiro. And I really don't think Gentasai wants to face Shijiro with more than one person. Something tells me he's not ready to do that. So anyway, but she goes and, like I said, runs to like the perfect place to get murdered. Away from everybody, where it's quiet, dark, hard to see where you're going, very quiet so he can hear you wherever you're breathing, and got that poor old man who was minding his damn business in his own house killed. Just a frustrating battle. Overall, a very frustrating battle to watch her. But I'm really trying not to blame her, because I think that she knew that her skill level is not enough to beat Gentasai, right? She's very aware of the fact that out of all of her brothers and herself, she did not have the strongest fighting skills. She definitely has skills, but not the strongest. And I think even the speech she gave to Futaba a couple of episodes, just last episode, where she's like, you're weak, you're a girl, you're small, you gotta, figure out a way to work with that. That's, I think, a belief system she's been telling herself her whole life, or maybe she was told that by her master, I'm not sure, but it's sad that she looks at herself that way. But either way, if that's how she feels, then yes, she should run. That is what she should be doing. But I just feel like where she ran to made no sense. It was very much cornering herself, which I'm like, okay, girl. Anyway, we see that thankfully her brothers did show up to rescue her, and she was injured. I don't think it's too grave. It's pretty bad, but it's not too grave. It wasn't life-threatening, at least at this point. But yeah, it was because of the one, I don't remember his name, but the guy who has the white collar. Definitely out of the three, he's the strongest of those three. So he definitely gave Gentasai a real run for his money, and he was able to injure him. Nothing to kill him, but it was enough to at least keep him down long enough for them to get away. Because I think he knew that when it came down to straight up swordsmanship, he can't go up against Gentasai, which that's what it comes down to. Because we heard them say he's too strong, but I don't think it's a matter of strength. That man is old. When he's not actually doing his sword moves, he moves like an old man, which I don't think is an accident. However, he knows how to use the energy he does have well, right? He knows he probably can't keep up straight up speed-wise with the kids, but his swordsmanship, the level of perfection and precision that he uses while using two swords, that's why he doesn't need to be as fast. He knows that if he connects, he can end it. But the difference is that at least he likes to savor, I shouldn't say likes to, but he is not someone who wants to get it over with quickly, right? He's playing with his kill, much like we saw Mr. Court of Nobles doing, because he could have killed Iroha. We know that he knew exactly where she was under those boards when she was hiding underneath the walkway. He could have killed her in one stroke, but he didn't want to. He clearly wanted to terrorize her first. He wanted to hear her get scared. He wanted to see her scurry away and then slowly get to the point where he took her down. He's not for the fast kill. So that's the only reason they're still alive, honestly, is because he wants to savor it before he does it. But, you know, the kids, unfortunately, they know that they're not matched for him when it comes to his swordsmanship. And as I said in the episode as well, because they were trained under the master on the same hill, I think it's very safe to say Gentasai knows all the moves that they're going to make before they make it. The only one, like I said, I think is the wild card in this is Shujiro, because he gets into a zone where I don't think anyone can predict what he's going to do. We've seen it a couple times. So anyway, but yeah, we saw that the siblings did in fact get away. They regrouped. They talked about what they need to do. Iroha basically reinforced the fact that they do need to work together to take down Gentasai, because even with it was the two of them kind of, because she got injured, but even with two of them who are clearly very good fighters, they barely got a scratch on him. So yeah, they're like, we need to get everyone together. It's got to be all of us, because, you know, in Iroha's case, and we saw her kind of allude to this earlier when she was speaking to Shujiro, you know, she sees that he's different, right? Watching him watch Futaba just being a kid for a few minutes, it really hits her like how much Shujiro has changed, right? That he, as much as he can be that dangerous man with a sword, he's also a soft papa who likes seeing his kids happy, right? So that's when she kind of was like, were you really happy? And he had to explain to her, like, yeah, like, I'm not that guy anymore. Like my life, my wife, my kids, they taught me something about living without killing. They showed me that there is more to life than that. And they showed me that that life's worth protecting over killing or taking, right? So that's something that I don't think that Iroha has experienced thus far. She kind of went into fight or flight after the mountain. And, you know, like I talked about it a couple episodes ago when we were first introduced to her, but I think that she's been too scared to let herself live since the mountain, you know, be between almost dying and also being separated from the only family she knew. I think she was very scared about opening her heart again. And that's why even when she said to Shujiro, like, what's it like to have a real family? Like, you had a real family, ma'am. Like, it wasn't a conventional family since you were not technically blood related, but it was a family. You loved each other. You cared for each other. You grew up like you were siblings until that fateful day. So, you know, but that's how she felt. Like, that's kind of like her little wall she's built around herself to protect her heart has been like, that was the one family I had and it almost ended in bloodshed. So I don't want to open myself up again. Whereas Shujiro and Sensei, we see, didn't do that. They got out there and they did manage to find a different life. They did manage to open their hearts again and create their own families. And so I think Iroha, now seeing that that's possible, I think that's what she now wants to fight for. Like she said, like, we can't move forward until Gentasai is done. And I think that's the other thing she was worried about, is if she did open her heart to somebody and Gentasai showed up and killed them, she didn't want to live with that. She probably feels a lot of blood guilt towards her brother that possibly died with him. So yeah, they basically sealed the resolve to get everybody back together and take Gentasai down once and for all. So hopefully they can do that. There's only one sibling, like I said, that we haven't seen, and that was the round-faced one, which I'm pretty sure is who we saw at the end of this episode. I'm pretty sure that's the fifth person. So we'll see. We didn't see much of him outside of him saying he has no desire to fight, which makes sense because in the flashback, he was doing a lot more eating than fighting from what I remember. So that was the siblings. And then finally, the largest part of the episode was the battle between Shujiro and the Savage. I keep forgetting what his name starts with. Oh, Bokotsu. Bokotsu? Yeah, Bokotsu. So yes, Bokotsu we've seen since episode 1, but we haven't gotten his backstory. But we finally got a little bit of it this episode. We see that everything goes back to that damn battlefield, doesn't it? But he was there. He was one of the survivors, and he wasn't apparently satiated after seeing all that death, seeing all those bodies, all that carnage. He's like, no, I still want to fight. And he picked a fight with Kokushu, and Kokushu did not want to play with him. And in the end, Kokushu showed him very quickly why he wasn't even close to being a proper opponent for him. And he didn't kill him. right? Because we see there that probably long before this, but Shujiro is already done with killing, right? That whole battle just took the last of the will to fight out of him. Even though he didn't really have it, it looks like from the get-go, but it really took what was left out of him. And Bokusu showing up and trying to push him into it, goading him into it, really into self-defense, right? Because that's the only reason really why Shujiro gave him a fight, was because he saw that he was going to get killed right there on that field by the savage if he didn't. But, you know, as soon as he got the upper hand, we see that he gave him 2 good swipes, took his eye, and was like, I'm done. We're done here. The sooner you accept that, the happier you're going to be. And we see that moment on the field, it actually put Okotsu into a form of depression, right? I think that was very telling, the way they showed him being thrown into the cell, him laying down on his stomach, and then effectively not moving from there until he was let out of prison. Right? We don't know how much time went by. Obviously, he didn't stay there every minute of every day, but I get what they were trying to show us in that scene, that he really did fall into a dark place, because I think he snapped even before that battle. But to know that that battle had, you know, taken out what was left of the samurai, a good chunk of what was left, on top of the fact that he already knew they were trying to wipe out samurais before that, something I think deep, very deep inside of Bokotsu broke. I think he put his entire self-worth, his entire reason for living into being a samurai. And that's a real thing, right? There's people in our day and age today who identify very, very much with what they do. Obviously, you know, they're probably not killers, let's hope not, but you get my point. Like, they really feel like they identify with what they do for a living. And if something happens where they can no longer do that anymore, they really feel completely lost. And they don't know what to do or how to adapt and change and see what else they are capable of now that they can't do this thing they used to identify with. And that was Bokotsu, right? He was a samurai in his mind, and his version of being a samurai, his belief system of what that is, was somebody who was good at killing, who was respected for killing, and was no good for anything but killing. And then when you took that away from him and then called him all kinds of names for being that thing that, again, many people hired him for, praised him for before, that he prided himself on and identified himself with, he had nothing. And he couldn't even begin to wrap his head around what to do next. Like, that broke him. That's something about that. The fact that the whole world told him he's no longer useful and that he was wrong for being what he identified with, that broke him on a level that was beyond repair, apparently. And so when he was in that cell with nothing to do, he just basically, he didn't have, and that's the one thing I will give Bokotsu, is that if he had been more broken, he probably would have ended it all. But there was still a will to live in there. There was still enough in him that he didn't want to be the one to take himself out. He felt like that was beneath him, but he didn't want to continue on either. Basically, he didn't want to live in a world where he couldn't be this thing that he had identified with for so long. So that's why he got so angry at Shujiro on that field when he didn't take his life the first time, because he was done. You could tell that he just didn't want to keep doing this. He didn't want to be in a world post-samurai. But he also knew, he could feel that the world was different, and that he, you know, once change happens, you can't go back. Like, that's just the reality. Progress is a one-way street. So he was upset. He carried that around with him. And then, of course, when Scarface showed up and gave him the opportunity to be a samurai again, all he wanted to do was just take out all of that sadness and that really despair on anybody he felt like. Because that's really what it was. Despite his fake laughs, despite his poking, you know, or pushing for fights with everybody, it was really despair. That man was crying for someone to put him out of his misery. He wanted to do it fighting, at least, right? Like I said, he didn't have that complete sense of giving up, but he did definitely want to check out. He didn't want to be in this new world. He made that abundantly clear. Even that speech he gave during the fight to Shujiro about, oh, well, we can just rebuild it again. Honey, you knew it was going to be rebuilt again. You knew that. He could see it, and in the way people looked at him, the fear in their eyes, the way they shrunk away from him, like, he knew it was over. But he had to do something to make himself continue to push that sword up when there was nothing else for him. And that's why he really just couldn't fathom why someone who was actually beyond the level of him, i.e. Shujiro, why was Shujiro so willing to walk away? Why would he give up? How did he find happiness, right? Bokotsu just could not compute that in his head. So that's one of the reasons why he wanted to defeat Shujiro. Like, it was so important for him to prove that Shujiro really wasn't happy in his new life, because if Shujiro could find happiness, then why couldn't Bokotsu, right? Why couldn't he adapt? Why couldn't he move forward? right? I think for him, Shujiro was proof that he just couldn't move on, and he might have wanted to, but he just couldn't do it. So anyway, it was good to get some of that history as far as like him and Shujiro, but also like kind of how this obsession with him came to be. And so anyway, they had their battle, which was amazing, except for the fact, of course, that he just killed a bunch of innocent people. But I'm glad that effectively once Shujiro figured out that that was the way he was going to fight, he finally took him as far as he could away from everyone, even though, listen, as I said before in the episode, damn those people, because why the hell you gonna stick? You see people getting swiped up by this crazy man who's laughing and sticking people for fun. And y'all like, now let's stick around and see what happens. No, the children are still here. Someone, no, don't stop making the snacks. Let's just watch and see. Maybe the first 2 people who got swiped because they didn't know what was going on. After that, anybody who got hurt, it was on you. You deserve that shit. I'm sorry. Because, But anyway. So yeah, epic battle. Futaba, I got to give her props, even though I was frustrated because I did not want her to be a distraction for Shujiro in that fight. Bless her heart, because she really was standing up, not just for Shujiro, but those people, right? Her protective spirit is very admirable. And I really like that they made that a consistent trait for her. That's why even though she knew that man could take her head off, she still was willing to stand up for him, or to stand up to him, I should say, and try to stand up for those people. So I love that about her. That's why I really hope that she makes it through the next chapter. But I just really kind of like that she was there also because she cares so much about Shujiro, right? She's so grateful to him, and I do think she sees him as a bit of a dad figure at this point as well. But anyway, great battle. Love the use of the choreography. Loved how they did the whole thing with the fires in the fireworks tent, the fireworks happening while there. I'm like, that's a way to do a final battle. That was very well done. And if that's what they're doing for this, and this isn't even the battle royale, I'm very much looking forward to what they're going to do for that. But yes, in the end, through fire and water, I gotta call out my favorite part of that fight, believe it or not, even though there was a lot of amazing stunt work, was literally the end. They both went, they fought through fire, got to the point where their blades were so hot, they were searing, got to the water after putting themselves out, and you just see that Shujiro takes a few deep breaths, and then there's a calm. And I love the way they did the sound design, the silence, right? There's still noise in the background, but it's faded, it's muted. It's just the sound of each other's breath. They're holding eye contact. And Shujiro has this stillness, and you can see it. That's why I knew that the battle was over at that point. Shujiro was done. Shujiro only fought him that much before because he didn't want to kill him. He really did not want to have to take out another person, one of the few people who genuinely understood what it was to be Shujiro, what it was to be a samurai, a former samurai. I think that despite everything, there was a part of Shujiro that really, really wished that Bokotsu could have found another way, or was willing to find another way. But then in that moment in the water, as still as the water was, that's how still Shujiro got. And I was like, ooh, it's about to be quick and it's about to be decisive. And that's exactly what happened. Bokotsu took that final swing and Shujiro finally ended it. He's like, that's it. Swift, clean, the same way we saw him take off that guard's head back in episode 2, like it was a hot knife through butter. Took that man's whole lung out. Done. But anyways, we see the Bokotsu smile. He died with a smile. In the end, he got what he wanted. Like he said, he's happy. He feels like he's fulfilled whatever purpose he should have had on this world. And he didn't want, again, I feel like as annoying and depraved as that man was, I did in a way feel bad for him. And I'm glad that his suffering is over because I don't think he's had a moment's peace in a very long time. And he wanted someone to end it because he didn't have the strength to do it himself. So yeah, that's finally done. That was probably I don't think it's the hardest battle that Shujiro's ever had, but I think it was one of the ones he really just didn't want to end that way. Difficult on a different level than skill. Let's put it that way. So that's what we had for our final battle. Shujiro and Futaba have survived, thankfully, for now. And I guess for them, then from there, we see that they moved on to the next checkpoint. That's where they found out that Lord Akobo is dead, and And that's where it's really hitting now for Shujiro that this is big. This Kodoku goes so much further than just this game with the samurais. This is going all the way up. This is a bigger plot. And I mean, some of that was already brought to his attention by Kyojin, but I think he's starting to put pieces together that maybe even Kyojin doesn't know, because unlike Kyojin, at least as far as we know, Shujiro he knows a lot of the people. He knows Kawaji. And that's why that moment when Kawaji was passing by in the carriage, the The way it looked to me, it looks like Shijiro knows he knows him, but he can't figure out where he knows him from, if that makes sense. But Shijiro, like I said, Shijiro's already proved that he's got a very good memory. But anyway, he knows now that this is big, and if he recognizes the rank of who is in that carriage, I think he's starting to understand and put those pieces together. And so, yeah, we now know that there's still a couple more stops till we get to Tokyo. And interestingly, Kawaji said when he went to go and take care of something, he said he has something to take care of personally, and he left the rich guys. He said to the evil butler, he said, keep these rich bastards entertained. That's the first time we've heard him refer to these people with anything other than respect. These are people that are backing him. These are people that made the Kodoku possible. People who have basically offered some level of unwavering loyalty to him. So him referring to them as bastards is very interesting. So it makes me wonder what the actual, like, I don't know what the end game is now entirely. Like, I know he wants to get rid of the Shizoku. That part's pretty obvious, but what else does Kawaji want? Because I'm getting the sneaky suspicion that these rich people are not supposed to be around at the end of this either, or at least not all of them. I feel like there's a special certain game that might be coming up that even they're not aware of, that they're going to be a part of, if that makes sense. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Interesting side note where that's concerned. But yeah, we basically ended the episode with who we've got remaining in this whole thing. Like I said, the siblings are still at play. Gentasai is still at play as well, working with Kyojin. And the ministers, as we know it, are pretty much gone with the exception of Meiji, who thankfully figured out that he needed to, when he found out, I don't know if he found out, he must have found out about the death of Lord Akobu first, but either way, he figured out that going to where they were supposed to meet was going to get him killed. So he hightailed out of there, which is good. So he's still on the playing board. And then finally, we've got Kawaji and whatever the hell he's trying to plan. Oh, and then Scarface. We see that Scarface is still very much training in his sword art, because despite the fact that he keeps saying that the era of the samurai is over. So I have a stinking suspicion he's going to be in this competition. He's going to put himself in it because everybody wants to fight Chujiro for some reason. It looks like they all need to have their final battle against him to know that they're good enough. So yeah, lots of interesting players left on the board. This was a great first chapter, first season. It was too short, in my opinion. I feel like they definitely could have tacked on another couple of episodes, but I feel very confident we're going to get another part, hopefully pretty soon. Netflix has been thankfully trying to film a lot of these things back to back, so I'm praying that we're going to get part 2 early in the new year, because this was great. I enjoyed everything about it. I love the historical context. I love the costuming. The cinematography was great. Those one-shots were winners all around. The fight choreography, the acting, the story, all of it is hitting A+, 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 A+. No notes from me. Great season. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So personally, I cannot wait for the second part. Hopefully you will join me for that whenever it comes out. I'm putting it in the universe, guys. Nothing's been confirmed, but I'm putting it in the universe. But yes, in the meantime, hopefully you can find something else in my catalog so you can stay on this journey with me. Thank you so much for all your views, comments, likes. It's very much appreciated. And I hope to see you in the next video.